And it's time now for our business update, and I'm joined by Yuka Royer here in the studio. Welcome, Yuka. You're starting with the discovery of a massive security flaw in computer microchips.
Well, Intel and other major chip makers are rushing to fix bugs that are present in the processors used on almost all computers, mobile phones and cloud servers in the world. The vulnerabilities could allow a hacker to steal information stored in the memory of the chip itself, like passwords and cached files. There's no evidence so far that the flaws have been exploited, but the problem is alarming because it puts so many computers at risk, as Shirley Sitman explains.
They're called Meltdown and Spectre, two types of security flaws that have been detected in chips made by companies Intel, AMD, and ARM. They affect virtually all modern computers and smartphones, as well as data centers. Meltdown affects Intel chips alone. It allows hackers to read a computer's memory and extract sensitive data like passwords. Spectre affects Intel and also chips made by ARM and AMD. It allows hackers to trick apps into giving secret information. Google and Intel have found out about those security flaws some time ago and have since been working to protect their users. In a common practice, they withheld the information until a proper solution was found and were planning an official statement for next week. But as the information started leaking, they had to communicate earlier. Google said it has updated its systems and affected products to protect against this new type of attack. Software and hardware companies have been working together to address the problem. They believe hackers haven't exploited the chip's flaws yet and hope their patches will be enough to protect users.
Let's check in on the financial markets, and the global rally seems to continue gathering momentum.
Well, markets got off to a solid start here in Europe, taking their cue from Asian markets, which hit a 10-year peak earlier this Thursday. As you can see, all major indices are trading in the green right now. Meanwhile, oil prices are hovering around 3-year highs. That's on the back of a big freeze in the United States, as well as rising tensions between major producers Iran and Saudi Arabia. Now, in Tokyo, the Nikkei jumped 3.25%, closing at a 26-year high on its first day of trading this year. Finance Minister Taro Aso attended the opening ceremony to celebrate the new year, expressing hope for Japan's continued economic growth despite its challenges. Take a listen.
Japan wishes to ensure this growth trend in the economy will become sustainable, and for that purpose we hope to improve productivity to drive the momentum forward, so as to tackle our biggest obstacle, which is depopulation and aging.
Let's take a look at some other business headlines at this hour. And Pakistan is moving away from the US dollar after Donald Trump slammed the country, accusing it of providing a safe haven to terrorists from Afghanistan. The country's central bank issued a statement saying businesses will now be allowed to use the Chinese yuan for bilateral trade. Pakistan is looking to boost trade with China with the implementation of a new economic corridor linking the two countries. Brazil's state-run oil giant Petrobras has agreed to pay nearly $3 billion to settle class action lawsuits in the United States. The deal ends a legal battle with investors who allegedly suffered losses following a massive corruption scandal that involved dozens of officials across Latin America. Petrobras also says that it was a victim of the corruption scheme and that the financial settlement does not constitute any admission of wrongdoing or misconduct by the company. And Swedish music streaming service Spotify has made a confidential filing to go public on the New York Stock Exchange, according to US media reports. It is targeting a direct listing in the first half of this year, according to sources. If Spotify, which was valued at $19 billion last year, goes ahead with its plans, it will be the first major company to carry out a direct listing, an unconventional way to pursue an IPO without raising new capital.
And finally from you, Yuka, the U.S. Powerball lottery, the lottery jackpot, just keeps getting bigger.
Powerball, there were no winning tickets for the $460 million Powerball draw-in late on Wednesday night. That means that the jackpot has now gone up to over $500 million for the next drawing on Saturday. There were, however, over 3 million winners overall for smaller prizes, pocketing a total of about $30 million. Powerball is played in 44 states as well as Washington, D.C., Puerto Rico and the U.S. Virgin Islands. The odds of winning are now 1 in 292 million.
What would you do with all that money, Yuka?
Well, it's pretty astronomical to win that ticket anyway, so... And I'm not in the United States, unfortunately.
Oh, well, I could think of a million things that I would do with that money. Thank you so much, Yuka Royer, there with the business news.